Hello. This is Kim reading the Urantia book, and I'm just thinking, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is seriously bumming me out, just with everything that's going on in the country lately here with all the violence at the Capitol, and I don't know, yeah. This feels just really just like dun dun dun, right? But it's important, I think, that we know about these things so that we can face our future, that we're armed with the knowledge of our mistakes and face that. And this is just part of that. It's part of that. These humans that tried and crucified Jesus were immature. They weren't able to recognize him. And there's a lot of us today that aren't able to recognize truth because they're immature spiritually. They just aren't there. And it makes me so sad. It makes me just really sad. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I wanna cry all the time, and I just can't, and I don't know what to do. I feel helpless about this. I feel completely helpless, and I just watched this happening both in the news today and in this and and I don't know what to do. Okay, yeah, yelling and screaming is not the way. But you have to carry forward and speak the truth. I'm not going to get into political discussion on this. I just want to say, whatever your leanings are in the political situation, I want to know that you're loved. I love you, and you're a beloved child of God. Reach for the highest potential of your being, and carry forward the what truth that you have. Because if you're carrying forward an untruth, you're going to find out about it. You're going to find out about it, and that's the only way. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's enough of that, and let's read this here. This is about Pontius Pilate, trial before Pontius Pilate. If Pontius Pilate had not been a reasonably good governor of the minor provinces, Tiberius would hardly have suffered him to remain as procurator of Judea for 10 years. Although he was a fairly good administrator, he was a moral coward. There's your downfailing, Pontius. If you would have had the guts to stand up for what's right, this could have been possibly avoided, or at least postponed. But you're a moral coward. He was not a big enough man to comprehend the nature of his task as governor of the Jews. He failed to grasp the fact that these Hebrews had a real religion, a faith for which they were willing to die, and that millions upon millions of them, scattered here and there throughout the empire, looked to Jerusalem as the shrine of their faith and held the Sanhedrin in respect as the highest tribunal on earth. Pilate did not love the Jews, and this deep-seated hatred early began to manifest itself. Of all the Roman provinces, none was more difficult to govern than Judea. Right, because these people were hard to govern because they did have faith. And remember, when you have faith in something higher than yourself, that's what you listen to, and nobody else can control you. That's what makes them so hard to deal with. Is faithful people in general, I think, are hard to do with because they do not bend and they do not break. They just are, and that's what we strive to be. So that's admirable about the Jews, even though they've got some wrong ideas that they're putting their faith in. They didn't have faith in Jesus, but the fact that they had faith at all, rather than dealing with just getting what they need for the moment, which is kind of how the Romans are depicted. They're good in practical matters, but they don't have moral fortitude. They don't have the ability to stand for something higher and better than what they are. So that's what the Jews have over them. That's wonderful. That's fascinating. Yeah, I love that. And that's probably the reason why the Jews were so hated by a lot of people there, because they dared to just stand up to people. They're not going to bend. Eh, not going to do your thing. I got my God. I ain't interested in your little pursuits, whatever you're doing here on earth. I'm not interested. And that makes people mad. None was more difficult to govern than Judea. Pilate never really understood the problems involved in the management of the Jews, and therefore, very early in his experience as governor, made a series of almost fatal and well-nigh suicidal blunders, and it was these blunders that gave the Jews such power over him. Okay. When they wanted to influence his decisions, all they had to do was threaten an uprising, and Pilate would speedily capitulate because he knows they're not kidding. It's like when they say they're going to die for something, they're freaking going to die for it. Yep. And this apparent vacillation or lack of moral courage of the procurator was chiefly due to a memory of a number of controversies he had with the Jews, and because in each instance they had worsted him. The Jews knew that Pilate was afraid of them, that he feared for his position before Tiberius, and they employed this knowledge to the great disadvantage of the governor on numerous occasions. So in a way, he's like not messing with these people because they got the fire of God in them. So they're not to be trifled with because they're not messing around. So he's kind of like, so he don't want them to make him look bad in front of his boss here, Tiberius. Pilate's disfavor with the Jews came about as a result of a number of unfortunate encounters. First, he failed to take seriously their deep-seated prejudice against all images as symbols of idol worship. Okay, so, yep. Therefore, he permitted his soldiers to enter Jerusalem without removing the images of Caesar from their banners, as had been the practice of the Roman soldiers under his predecessor. So yeah, here he's probably trying to get points with Caesar by keeping the Roman symbols up there, but that's not doing well because it's pissing off the Jews, right? So he'd been better just be discreet and, yeah, probably. A large deputation of Jews waited upon Pilate for 5 days, imploring him to have these images removed from the military standards. He flatly refused to grant their petition and threatened them with instant death. Pilate, himself being a skeptic, did not understand that men of strong religious feelings will not hesitate to die for their religious convictions, and therefore was he dismayed when these Jews drew themselves up defiantly before his palace, bowed their faces to the ground, and sent word that they were ready to die. Wow. Okay. Pilate then realized that he had made a threat which he was unwilling to carry out. Yep, he surrendered, ordered the images removed from the standards of his soldiers in Jerusalem, and found himself from that day on to a large extent subject to the whims of the Jewish leaders, who had in this way discovered his weakness in making threats which he feared to execute. Okay, so haha, we exposed you. So he's kind of like he's manipulated by these Jews. Pilate subsequently determined to regain this lost prestige, and accordingly had the shields of the emperor, which were such as were commonly used in Caesar worship, put up on the walls of Herod's palace in Jerusalem. Right. So it's like, okay, but still, I'm gonna put these shields up on the palace, on Herod's palace. When the Jews protested, it's like, no, you can't do that. He was adamant. When he refused to listen to their protests, they promptly appealed to Rome, and the emperor as promptly ordered the offending shields removed. And then was Pilate held in even lower esteem than before. So it's like, oh, he's trying to gain his honor back here by holding up the honor of Caesar. I know they say, no, don't do that. Don't mess with these Jews. They're not like that. Yep, you can't put that up there. Okay. Another thing which brought him into great disfavor with the Jews was that he dared to take money from the temple treasury to pay for the construction of a new aqueduct to provide increased water supply for the millions of visitors to Jerusalem at the times of the great religious feasts. The Jews held that only the Sanhedrin could disperse the temple funds, and they never ceased to inveigh against Pilate for his presumptuous ruling. No less than a score of riots and much bloodshed resulted from this decision. Yeah, but he thinks he's doing something nice for them. It's like, no, we're going to give you guys water when you have feasts. We'll just take some money here. You'll like it. No, that's up to us. No, you don't do that. Don't do that. No. The last of these serious outbreaks had to do with the slaughter of a large company of Galileans, even as they worshipped at the altar. Pitiful. Okay. All right. It is significant that while this vacillating Roman ruler sacrificed Jesus to his fear of the Jews and to safeguard his personal position, he finally was just deposed as a result of the needless slaughter of Samaritans in connection with the pretensions of a false Messiah who led troops to Mount Gerizim, where he claimed the temple vessels were buried, and fierce riots broke out when he failed to reveal the hiding place of the sacred vessels, as he had promised. As a result of this episode, the legatus of Syria ordered Pilate to Rome. Tiberius died while Pilate was on his way to Rome, and he was not reappointed as procurator of Judea. He never fully recovered from the regretful condemnation of having consented to the crucifixion of Jesus. So it's like, yeah, we give them what they want, and then that's not good thing either. Finding no favor in the eyes of the new emperor, he retired to the province of Lausanne, where he subsequently committed suicide. Oh, Pontius, that's too bad. If you would have spared Jesus, you would have been lifted up. Yeah. Claudia Procula, Pilate's wife, had heard much of Jesus through the word of her maid-in-waiting, who was a Phoenician believer in the gospel of the kingdom. After the death of Pilate, Claudia became prominently identified with the spread of the good news. And all this explains much that transpired on this tragic Friday forenoon. It is easy to understand why the Jews presumed to dictate to Pilate. No, Margie. to get him up at 6 o'clock in the morning. There, I was saying, yeah, that's why. Okay, Pontius, you get your ass out of bed here at 6. Sorry, I swear, I didn't mean to swear. I sorry. Yeah, okay. Get up out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this thing. Yep, you better get up. Yep. To get him up at 6 o'clock to try Jesus, and also why they did not hesitate to threaten to charge him with treason before the emperor if he dared to refuse their demands for Jesus' death. A worthy Roman governor who had not become disadvantageously involved with the rulers of the Jews would never have permitted these bloodthirsty religious fanatics to bring about the death of a man whom he himself had declared to be innocent of their false charges and without fault. Rome made a great blunder, a far-reaching error in earthly affairs, when she sent the second-rate Pilate to govern Palestine. Tiberius had better have sent to the Jews the best provincial administrator in the empire. Okay. That's it for today. Tomorrow, Jesus appears before Pilate. Okay, have a good day. Thank you.